Hello everybody. Welcome to part 3, how to become a better magician. In the last episode, we talked about books, where to find books, the importance of reading, and as a quick addendum to that, just very quickly, I meant to add this, but I felt like the video ran a little long. Another resource for learning magic are subscriptions to magazines, like Magic Magazine and Genie Magazine, Genie the Conjurer's Magazine. The wonderful thing today is you can do totally a digital subscription and download each issue on your reader and or tablet and read it that way, which a lot of people do, and that's what I'm doing now. Or you can pay a little extra and get the hard copy mailed to your door. And the cool thing is that you can get the subscription to Magic Magazine also at the same site, Genie the Conjurer's Magazine. You can subscribe it in one place and get both magazines. A word of warning though, once again, these are for magicians that already have some background in magic and performing, generally speaking. And many times they will say something like, just do a double lift or an Elmsley count, because those things are supposed to be so well known that you already know what you're doing. Back in the old days, a double lift was a brand new bra. Now we call it a double turnover or double lift. But I remember the first issue of Genie Magazine I read, as a matter of fact, it was done with some corks, and I had cut the corks up. I was going through it and trying to figure it out, and it said, do a French drop. And it didn't explain what a French drop was. I asked my dad, I said, Dad, do you know what a French drop is? He goes, no, son, I've never heard of a French drop. And of course, I didn't know anybody who was French. So how was I going to find out what a French drop was? Okay, so therein lies the danger. Many magicians learn to do magic from a magic set, or at least they get their start by getting something like this as a gift for a Christmas or birthday, usually Christmas. And this is one very cool set that's turned a lot of heads, the Criss Angel MindFreak set. And you can still find them on eBay if you're willing to pay the price for them. It was not cheap to start with. It comes with a lot of the basic items, but they've all been remade to have the MindFreak idea. It says 250 magic tricks to perform. Okay, but like almost every set, what this entails is 7 or 8 real tricks and then a book explaining the rest of the magic that you will need to know. And you can see it's not a very thick book. And most of it is like, one trick is how to reveal a card a certain way, how to reveal a card another way, things like that. It comes with a couple of packs of cards that have the MindFreak thing. This is not an ad for MindFreak, by the way. This just happens to be a set that I have. Okay. It comes with sponge balls, which is a type of magic unto its own self. A card box, which can be used to magically change one card for another. The ancient and very old card frame, where a playing card is put against the glass, in this case plastic, and punctured with a sharpened pencil and without breaking the glass. And cups and balls, and I really like these cups and balls. They look like they're metal. And I almost used them for the cups and balls at the beginning of this tape or program, but I decided to use a set that I got from Murphy's. Okay, but They are some sharp looking plastic chrome cups. And why no one ever thought to do chrome, because you know I was building model kits back when I was 10 years old in '68, and we had a lot of chrome back then. I just never saw anybody make a chrome set of cups and balls. They were usually little 3 different colored cups, red, yellow, and green, or blue, or whatever. It also comes with a really cool nest of boxes, which a coin is marked and then found not in one box, but in a box, inside a box, inside a box, inside a box, etc., etc. And the vanishing handkerchief trick, which has become the most exposed trick in all of magic. But I still fool kids with it by doing it a different way. But since this is not really big enough to be a handkerchief, I tell them that it's a silk handkerchief that comes from Japan. And as everyone knows, silk is made by a worm. And in this case, the worm is not through with it yet. All right. So, once again, reading is fundamental in learning to do everything that is in the set, because even the cup and ball routine is explained in the book, sponge balls are in the book, the secrets to every one of these items is literally in the book. So, reading, as I used to say in my library shows, is magically fundamental. Okay, all right, well, we are already at 6 minutes, almost. One of the things I like about magic sets, I dislike about magic sets, and most of them, but I like about this one, is that instead of, say, marking the coin and finding it in the nest of boxes by simply taking the coin, putting it inside your jacket, and then coming out with the nest of boxes or whatever, you know, the trick is. Actually, that is a variation of a trick S.S. Adams sold for like $1.50 on the back of a comic book that I used to do. And the coin was found in a matchbox wrapped with rubber bands. And then when they took the rubber bands off, there was a little cloth bag inside, and you could feel the coin was in there, but it too was tied shut with a rubber band. And then when they took the rubber band off, they found the marked coin inside of the bag, which was cool. In the version in Criss Angel's book, he realizes that it's way more effective to, say, reach in and grab the box at the same time making the coin disappear. And then, of course, you reach in and take out the box, and it has the marked coin inside of it. And he teaches the sleight that I just showed you, and another method of holding a coin secretly in your hand for use with another vanish. So he is a sleight of hand guy. And although the cups and balls comes with pom-poms, the little yellow pom-poms, these work equally well in that set or any set of cups and balls. And you can find these at Dollar Trees and dollar stores and Family Dollar and Walmart even, I believe. And they are really cool in order to do sleight of hand with. It's amazing when you do something with a familiar object that it's not seen to be, you know, something tricky or whatever. Because, you know, you learn to do a sleight with one thing, you can do it with, you know, virtually anything there is. In the cups and balls that I did at the beginning, I used these high impact rounds, 30X by Rival. Something else the kids know very well, and you don't have to explain, you know, what kind of balls they are. And they're not the old little cork balls wearing sweaters that you have to try to explain away. And they're silent in the cups, so that's what you're really looking for. Okay. So let's say that you're working hard, you've read some tricks, and you've learned some tricks out of your set. One of the dangers of a magic set that I didn't mention is that when you sit down, you open it up, and there's all of these little toys to play with. And the best way to learn out of a magic set or a book would be to take out one item, decide on one item, sit down, read through the trick so you know what to do beforehand before you even start. Because sometimes you got to flip a page and it's a pain to have to try it. You're all ready to do it, and then you got to stop and flip the page, and then you got to get back where you were. So it's better to kind of familiarize yourself with the whole routine, read the whole thing, then practice it with the props in hand. And if you will sit there for an hour and concentrate on that one trick, you will be amazed at how far you'll get with it. I would not do anything else with the set that evening, because an important learning function takes place while you're asleep. Let's say you were having trouble with the little vanish, okay, when you were practicing it. The nice thing is that your brain will actually practice that move in your sleep for you. And the next time you get ready to sit down and do it, you'll be able to actually do the move smoother. And of course you'll practice in front of a mirror, but you've got to be to the point where you can literally do the move without looking at your hands. Okay? That's very, very important. I don't care what it is. You cannot look at your hands when you do the sleight, because the audience will watch what you watch, and you need to be looking them in the eye when you do the secret move, whatever it is. Okay, now many magicians, if they went through this, are then ready for the books or possibly even a magic video. Magic video has become the thing, you know, DVDs, CDRs, all of this stuff. And back in the day, there were VHS tapes, and I did see a few. I was never really all that impressed with watching other magicians. I really prefer to read the trick, let it make an impression in my own mind. I see the trick the way I think it ought to be done. And then from that point, it would suit me. And I would not wind up copying the performer who taught me the trick. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Back a few years ago, about 20 years ago, there was a trick called the Ninja Rings. Fantastic little 4-ring routine. The rings are small, beautifully made. And the performer is fantastic, made lecture tours all over the world. But he was Chinese, or at least Asian. And as you practiced the trick, you were listening to his words. And of course, it was in that, the clash a link, you'll take the ring, and when you tap 3 times, the ring, the magical ring goes right through the ring, like this. And that was what I heard. Whenever I performed the trick, what I was hearing was the teacher of the trick talking in my own mind. And it's very, very frustrating to unlearn something that you have taught yourself through repetition. And that is how sleight of hand is learned. It is learned through repetition. You can never do it once and think you got it down. The average move, most magicians say, to get comfortable with it, needs to be done at least 1,000 times. So if you think you could read a trick in a book or watch it on a video and go out and do it the next day, all you're going to do is expose it. Because you've got to practice and practice and practice. But there are 2 camps in magic, Ed Marlowe and Dai Vernon. Dai Vernon was a master magician who taught naturalness above all else. The way you pick up a ball, the way you would transfer it to your hand, the way this hand would come to rest, the way you would open the hand to make it disappear. where you would reproduce it from behind the kid's ear or wherever. Ed Marlowe could do magic with cards and coins and just about anything, really. But cards and coins pretty much were a specialty, and especially cards. But he would literally take a deck of cards, set up a card table in a hotel room or wherever he was spending the night, and he would sit at that card table for hours and hours, sometimes all night long, to perfect a move with that pack of cards. Or sit down with 3 or 4 coins and come up with a coin trick that nobody's ever seen before. So you learn by repetition. And repetition means learning to do it the right way from the beginning. Because if you learn to do it the wrong way over and over and over again, then you have simply learned it wrong. And I'll give you a quick example. The French drop I mentioned, that's basically the sleight that's taught in the Criss Angel set. It's taught in all beginner magic books. Now, in the description of the sleight, it says, you hold the object, palm up in your left hand. The right hand comes over, the thumb goes between the thumb and first finger underneath the object, and then the hand, as the hand closes, the ball is secretly dropped into the fingers, and then this hand, the right hand, closes and moves away, and the left hand forefinger points without moving and points at the hand that has the object in it. If you do it that way, what you're actually doing is framing the sleight. You're actually telling the audience that something tricky is about to happen, because nobody would go, and you've seen this done on television. Okay? There are so many different ways to do that move. You know, I mean, there's just no sense in doing, you know, it this way. So, in the next one, we will talk about who you are as a magician, and possibly even talk about how to get that first magic job. Okay? Assuming after this pandemic that everything reopens. And God knows we're all hoping that'll happen. All right? So until next time, magically yours, Roger Weafer. And thanks for watching How to Become a Better Magician, Part 3 on Magic by Roger. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.